So we have to do the dreaded nail trim, right? Our dogs grow fingernails just like we do. And the healthier they are, the more quickly that may actually happen. I happen to have two little weenie dogs, two little senior citizen weenie dogs, and I've been told that weenie dogs' nails will grow significantly faster than most other breeds of dogs. Now, where that's based on or if that's really true, not so sure. I just know they grow crazy fast. Um, and part of it is, they are not out walking the city streets. I live out in the country, so they're out wandering in the yard, not necessarily walking down streets that have sidewalks on them, right? So they're not getting a natural filing like they would on a street. They're not even necessarily getting filing because they're not hunting and digging and doing all those things like they would if they were quote unquote out in the wild. They're out on the grass enjoying themselves. So we have to trim our dog's nails. We know that if we don't, we can actually throw off their gait. We can, sort of have them where they make compensations because of the adjustments that they need to make or the way that their feet land on the pavement, or the grass. All of that can cause structural issues for our dog. So keep them short, keep them really short. It's important, I think, to know that when you trim a dog's nails, right, we have to be very careful about that quick. And but what you need to know is that if you do quick your dog, it's going to hurt. And so he's going to have a negative association with getting the nail trim the next time, right? He's not going to want you to finish. And the next time you show up with those clippers, he's not going to want to have them trimmed. So we have to learn to be really careful about that. But if you do quick them, it's not like us when we rip a nail off and then it's going to hurt for the next several days. It's painful, it bleeds, but they are going to overcome that pretty quickly and within a few hours. Certainly the next day, it's going to be as if it never happened. So I'm not telling you to cut too short just because you need to speed them up, but I'm telling you, don't panic about it if you happen to quick them. And then just say, sorry, dude, and move on. Don't make a big drama out of it. The more we get dramatic, the more of an imprint we make on them about how uncomfortable and unpleasant that was. So just sort of be neutral and move on about your business. If we do quick them, a little cornstarch with a little helichrysum in it will be a beneficial way to stop the bleeding and to quickly stop the ouchie that goes with that, right? Helichrysum is a great essential oil to use. However, it's super pricey, right? Helichrysum can be pricey. So what I use instead in this case is a little Panaway. There's a little bit of helichrysum in the Panaway essential oil, and that's enough for it to do the job if we happen to do a little bit of quicking when we're trimming our dog's nails. Other things to note would be if you trim them consistently, right? If you'll make a little clip, even just to take the tip off, right? Ideally, we can see, especially on white nails, where the quick is. On black nails, it's a little bit harder. But if you're not sure and not comfortable with starting to trim them shorter, just take the tip off and do that a little bit at a time, right? Even start to Dremel them to use like a file, like you would the actual tool. So you could go out and buy a Dremel created for nail trims, or you can get good at just using the Dremel that's out in your garage already. That's what I do. But the point I'm trying to make there is when you take the tip off, we make the nail bed recede just a smidge. Take the next tip off, it'll recede a little more. So when you have these dogs, especially some of these rescue dogs that have come to us and they've not had a nail trim in forever, and you think, my God, their nails are so long, how will I ever get them short? The answer is a little bit at a time. So the nail bed for those dogs will actually start to recede and allow you to get shorter trims over time, and then you can keep them short. So even if you do one nail a day, do a quick clip and reward the dog like crazy. Tomorrow, do the next nail. Within, I think it's 18 days, right? Because they have 5 on the front, assuming the dew claws have not been removed, and 4 on the back, assuming they didn't come with dew claws or double dew claws on the back, which some dogs do. But generally speaking, you know, in a couple of weeks, you've got the whole series trimmed up, and you start over again and you do one a day. I prefer to sit down and snip, snip, snip all of them in about 4 minutes. We're done. Everybody gets wonderful treats, and then they think the nail trims are fantastic. That's your goal, right? So get them trimmed. A note on the dew claw issue: don't remove them if you don't have to. In other words, if they've not been torn or ripped out or something along those lines, they actually do serve a purpose. So we have to go back and think about what the breed of dog we have is and what they would be doing instinctually if they weren't laying on the couch, right? If we hadn't spoiled them rotten. And so what you'll find is, for many of those dogs that are runners and, you know, get into some of these agile moves, that dew claw actually will shift into the ground when they start to make some of those turns and some of those faster runs. So it's supposed to be there. We sometimes as humans say, oh, I need to get that taken off before it gets snagged on something. So just be aware of that decision, because when we start taking off pieces and parts of the dog or ourselves, we actually start to interrupt meridians. So we'll talk more about meridians as education comes, but it actually creates a scar tissue, right? Because we've removed something and we have basically interrupted the flow of the energy that would normally go to and through that point on their body. So it can, in some cases, lead to dogs that are sort of gnawing at that spot because we find that they have some discomfort associated with it, even years into the future, that there may be a energetic blockage that they are trying to stimulate by doing the gnawing of certain places on their feet. So just be aware of that. So trim a little bit every day. Make sure that they get really short so that we're keeping our dogs balanced and walking appropriately, and they're getting all 4 feet landing on the ground like they're supposed to. And if you do happen to quick them, a little bit of cornstarch with a little bit of Panaway, because we're after the helichrysum that's in there, to help stop the bleeding and help make it feel better as quickly as possible. Hope this helps.